When Emily Carter first brushed young Liam's hair, her fingers encountered something that sent a shiver down her spine. Something that finally explained why the 6-year-old boy was slowly fading away. A greenish residue, sticky, with a chemical odor, all too familiar from her years as a pediatric nurse. But before I tell you what Emily did with this horrifying discovery, you need to understand how she even ended up in that room. And more importantly, you need to understand why the son of one of the world's most powerful oil tycoons was wasting away before everyone's eyes, with no one lifting a finger to help. It all began 3 weeks earlier, the day Emily Carter walked through the wrought iron gates of Ashford Manor. She was 29. Her brown hair was pulled back in a practical bun. Hands that had held hundreds of sick children during her 8 years as a pediatric nurse, and a secret, one that had forced her to abandon the career she loved. Emily needed this job more than anything in the world. And when she saw the advertisement for a housekeeper at Ashford Manor, she didn't hesitate. The manor was immense. Stone walls that looked as if they'd been built by giants. Grounds that stretched as far as the eye could see. And a silence that weighed like lead. "You're the new housekeeper?" The voice came from behind. Emily turned and found a woman. Tall, blonde, dressed in a grey suit that cost more than Emily made in a year. Veronica Ashford, the second wife of the oil tycoon. "Yes, ma'am?" Emily lowered her head. "I'm Emily Carter." Veronica studied her for a long moment. Her eyes were cold, calculating, like those of a predator assessing its prey. "The rules are simple," Veronica said. "You clean, you cook when necessary, you don't ask questions, and you stay away from my stepson." "Stepson? Liam, my husband's son from his first marriage." Veronica spat the words out as if they tasted foul. "He's fragile, sickly. The doctors can't figure out what's wrong with him. Your presence would only agitate him further." Emily nodded. But something in the way Veronica spoke about Liam bothered her. It wasn't concern. It was something else. Something Emily couldn't quite put her finger on. "Understood, ma'am." "Excellent." Veronica smiled, a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Welcome to Ashford Manor." The first few days were uneventful. Emily cleaned, organized, and kept herself as invisible as a good housekeeper should be. But she couldn't stop thinking about Liam, the boy she'd never seen. The boy Veronica had forbidden her to approach. The boy who was dying of an illness no one could diagnose. It was on the 5th day that she saw him for the first time. Emily was cleaning the second-floor hallway when she heard a sound. Low, weak, like a wounded animal trying not to be found, crying. She followed the sound to a door at the end of the hall. It was ajar, and through the crack, she saw a boy, small, too thin for his age, sitting on the bed with his knees drawn up to his chest, messy brown hair, and a paleness that made Emily's heart clench. Liam. He was crying, alone, in an enormous room that felt more like a prison than a home. "Hi!" The word slipped out before Emily could stop herself. Liam looked up. His eyes were big, brown, and filled with a fear that no child should ever know. "You're not supposed to be here," he whispered. "Veronica will be mad. Why are you crying?" Silence. Liam glanced at the door as if expecting someone to appear at any moment. "My tummy hurts," he finally said. "It always hurts. And my head too. and I get dizzy, and the doctors say there's nothing wrong, but I know there is. I know there's something really wrong with me. Emily felt something shift inside her. The nursing instinct she had tried to bury surged back with full force. How long have you been feeling like this? Ever since Mommy went away, Liam said. His voice was so small. Ever since Veronica came to live here. Emily frowned. When was that? 2 years. 2 years. A 6-year-old boy had been sick for 2 years. Without a diagnosis. Without improvement. Slowly wasting away while dozens of doctors said there was nothing wrong. Something was very wrong. Can I take a look? Emily approached slowly, not wanting to frighten the boy. I'm a nurse. I mean, I used to be. Maybe I can help. Liam hesitated, but something in Emily's eyes must have conveyed trust, because he nodded. Emily sat on the edge of the bed, placed her hand on Liam's forehead. Low-grade fever, checked his eyes, slightly yellowed, looked at his fingernails, pale with a bluish tinge. All the signs of chronic poisoning. Emily's heart raced, but she kept her face calm. She didn't want to scare Liam. Do you eat well? She asked. Yes. Veronica always makes special food for me. And do you take a bath every day? Yes. Veronica always bathes me. She says she needs to use a special shampoo on my hair because of my sickness. Special shampoo. The pieces started to fall into place in Emily's mind, and the image they formed was terrifying. But before she could ask anything more, footsteps echoed in the hallway. Heavy, rapid, approaching. The door burst open, and Veronica Ashford stormed in. What are you doing here? Her voice was icy. Didn't I tell you to stay away from him? I just heard him crying. Emily stood up. I wanted to see if he was okay. It's not your job to see if he's okay. It's my job. I'm his stepmother. Veronica walked toward Emily. Her eyes gleamed with something dangerous. If I catch you near Liam again, you're fired. Understood? Emily wanted to scream, wanted to accuse, wanted to rip the mask off that woman and show the world what she really was, but she had no proof. Not yet. Understood, ma'am. Excellent. Veronica turned to Liam. And you? Why were you crying? My tummy hurts, the boy said. His voice trembled. I'll call Dr. Albright. Veronica didn't even look at her stepson. He'll give you more medicine. Emily left the room, but her mind was racing. Dr. Albright, the family doctor. The same doctor who, according to the other staff, saw Liam every week. The same doctor who never found anything wrong. Was he involved too? That night, Emily couldn't sleep. She lay in her small staff room, staring at the ceiling, thinking about Liam, thinking about the symptoms, thinking about the special shampoo. Thallium poisoning. It was the only explanation that made sense. Low-grade fever, gastrointestinal problems, dizziness, pallor, discolored nails, all the classic symptoms of chronic thallium poisoning. And thallium was almost undetectable in standard blood tests. Doctors could run dozens of tests and find nothing, unless they knew what to look for. Emily needed proof. She needed a sample of the shampoo. She needed something concrete she could show the oil tycoon. But how could she get it without Veronica finding out? The answer came 2 days later. Veronica had to leave Ashford Manor for an oil council meeting. She'd be gone for at least 4 hours. Emily waited until Veronica's car disappeared down the long driveway. Then, her heart pounding. She crept up the stairs to Liam's room. The boy was in bed, even paler than before. His eyes were sunken. His hands trembled slightly. "Hi, Liam," Emily said softly. "Do you remember me? The housekeeper." Liam tried to smile. "Veronica said you're a nosy housekeeper." "Maybe I am." Emily sat on the edge of the bed. "But I'm also someone who wants to help you. Do you trust me?" Liam looked at her for a long moment. Then he nodded. "I need to check something," Emily said. "Can I brush your hair?" "Why?" "Because I think I found what's making you sick, and I need to be sure." Liam didn't understand, but he nodded again. Emily picked up a hairbrush from the bedside table. She began to brush Liam's hair slowly, carefully. And that's when she felt it. Something sticky. Something that shouldn't be there. Something that made her blood run cold. She looked at the bristles of the brush. A greenish residue, glimmering, with that unmistakable chemical smell. Poison. Liam was being poisoned through his shampoo. Every time Veronica washed his hair, she was applying poison directly to his scalp. The poison was absorbed through his skin, entered his bloodstream, and slowly, day after day, week after week, it was killing the boy. Emily's hands were shaking. She needed more proof. She needed the shampoo bottle. She needed a lab test. But first, she needed to keep Liam safe. "Liam," she said. Her voice was firm, despite the fear. "I need you to do something for me. It's very important." "What?" "Don't let Veronica wash your hair. Tell her you have a headache. Tell her you don't want to. Make up any excuse. But don't let her put that shampoo on you." "Can you do that?" Liam looked confused, but he saw something in Emily's face. Something that made him understand this was serious. "I'll try," he said. "Good. You're very brave, Liam. Very brave." Emily left the room, the brush hidden under her uniform. She needed to find a lab. She needed a chemical analysis. She needed concrete proof. But she knew she was racing against time. Liam was getting weaker every day. And if Veronica found out what Emily was doing, she might accelerate the poisoning, might kill the boy before anyone could save him. Emily had to be fast, and she had to be careful, because a child's life depended on it. For the next 2 days, Emily worked as normal, cleaning, organizing, staying invisible. But inside, she was planning. She managed to send a sample of the residue to a private lab in the city. A friend from her nursing days who wouldn't ask questions. Now, all that was left was to wait. But Veronica was growing suspicious. "You seem different," she said to Emily one morning. "More alert, more observant." "I'm just trying to do a good job, ma'am." Veronica studied her for a moment. Then she smiled. That cold smile that never reached her eyes. "I hope so. It would be a shame if I had to fire another housekeeper. This is the 7th in 2 years, you know. None of them last long here." Emily felt a chill. 7 housekeepers in 2 years, all fired. Probably all who saw something they shouldn't, all who started to suspect. "I intend to last a long time, ma'am. We'll see." Veronica left, and Emily took a deep breath. She was walking on thin ice. One wrong step and everything would be lost. The lab results arrived on the 5th day. Emily was in the staff quarters when the phone rang. It was her friend from the lab. "Emily!" His voice was serious. "I don't know where you got this sample, but you need to call the police. Now." "What did you find?" "Thallium, high concentration, high enough to kill an adult in weeks. If this is being applied to a child..." Emily closed her eyes. She knew. Deep down, she knew from the first moment. "Thank you," she said. "Can you send me the report?" "It's already being emailed." "Emily, who's being poisoned?" "A 6-year-old boy." Silence on the other end of the line. Then, in a firm voice, "Do what you have to do. I'll testify if necessary." Emily hung up. Her hands were trembling. She had the proof. She had the lab report. Now she needed to show it to the oil tycoon. But how to reach him? Marcus Ashford was a busy man. He controlled an empire. He spent more time in meetings than at home. And Veronica had total access to his schedule. If Emily tried to arrange a meeting, Veronica would know. And if Veronica knew, Liam would be in danger. Emily needed another way. The answer came that same night. Liam had another seizure. Emily heard the screams from the other side of Ashford Manor. She ran to the boy's room and found a scene of chaos. Liam was convulsing. His eyes were rolling back. Foam was coming from his mouth. Veronica was there, feigning despair, while Dr. Albright administered something to him. "What happened?" Emily asked. "Another episode," Veronica said. Her voice was too calm, too controlled. "Dr. Albright is taking care of it." Emily looked at the doctor. He was injecting something into Liam's arm, probably more poison disguised as medicine. She needed to act. Now. "Where's Mr. Ashford?" In the library," Veronica said without thinking. "But that's none of your concern." Emily ran. "Where are you going?" Veronica shouted after her. But Emily didn't answer. She raced down hallways, down staircases, through rooms, until she reached the library. The door was closed. Emily didn't knock. She simply threw it open. And there he was. Marcus Ashford, the oil tycoon. He was taller than Emily imagined. Dark hair with streaks of grey at the temples. Dark eyes that seemed to see right through people. And a presence that made Emily hesitate for a second, but only for a second. "Mr. Ashford," she said. Her voice was firm. "Your son is being poisoned, and I have proof." Marcus frowned. "Who are you?" "My name is Emily Carter. I'm one of the housekeepers and a former pediatric nurse. And I know what's happening to Liam." "What are you talking about, Emily?" Emily took a deep breath. She was risking everything, her life, her job, her freedom. But Liam's life was worth more. "Veronica is poisoning her son," she said, "through a special shampoo that only she applies. The poison is thallium. I have the lab report. Your son is dying, Mr. Ashford, and the person who's killing him is your own wife." The silence that followed was absolute. Marcus stared at Emily for a long moment. His face was impossible to read. Then he said a single word. "Prove it." And it was at that moment that the library doors burst open. Veronica Ashford strode in, and behind her, 2 guards. "She's lying," Veronica said. Her voice was smooth, controlled. This woman is a criminal. I found stolen jewelry in her room. She came here to extort money with these false accusations." "What?" Emily felt the floor disappear beneath her feet. "I've never stolen anything." Veronica held up a plastic bag. Inside, necklaces and rings that Emily had never seen in her life. "I found this hidden under her mattress," Veronica said. "She's a thief, Marcus, and a liar. Don't believe anything she says." Marcus looked from Veronica to Emily, and back to Veronica, and Emily saw the exact moment he chose to believe his wife. "Take her away," Marcus said. The guards moved forward. "No!" Emily recoiled. "You have to listen to me. Your son is dying. The lab report." She tried to show him her phone, tried to open the email, but the guards were already grabbing her arms. "Let her go!" The voice came from the doorway. Everyone turned, and there, leaning against the jamb, pale as a ghost, was Liam. "Dad," the boy said. His voice was weak, but firm. "Emily is telling the truth. If this video is keeping you hooked, I need to ask something. Productions like this take an absurd amount of work. Research, scripting, editing. Ooh, and the YouTube algorithm only shows this content to more people when you interact. So if you're enjoying it, hit that like button now. It takes less than a second, and it helps me continue bringing stories like this. Deal? Then let's continue." Liam took a step forward. His legs were trembling, but his eyes were fixed on his father. "Emily told me not to let Veronica wash my hair," he said. "So I lied. I said I had a headache. And you know what happened?" Silence. "I started to feel better. For the first time in 2 years. I woke up without a stomachache. For the first time in 2 years. I could eat without throwing up." Liam was crying now. "But I missed her, Dad. I missed Veronica taking care of me. So yesterday I let her wash my hair again." Marcus took a step toward his son. His face was white. "And what happened last night, Dad?" Liam continued. "I had seizures. I almost died. Just like I almost died every other time she washed my hair." Veronica tried to interject. "Liam, darling, you're confused. The illness is affecting your mind." "Shut up!" Marcus's voice cut through the air like a knife. Everyone froze. The oil tycoon was staring at Veronica, and in his eyes was something Emily had never seen before, something that made even the guards step back. Fury. "How long?" Marcus asked. His voice was low, controlled, but trembling with contained rage. Marcus, I don't know what you're talking about. How long have you been poisoning my son?" Veronica opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. And then, something changed in her face. The mask fell. "From the beginning," she said. Her voice was different now, cold, real. "Ever since I realized that as long as Liam existed, my own son would never inherit anything." "You have a son?" Emily asked before she could stop herself. "I'm 4 months pregnant." Veronica placed a hand on her belly. "And I won't let the bastard of the first wife steal my son's inheritance." Marcus was trembling, not with fear, but with rage. "Guards," he said, "arrest her." The same guards who seconds before were holding Emily now advanced on Veronica. "You can't do this," she screamed. "I'm your wife." "You were my wife," Marcus said. "Now you're nothing." Veronica was dragged away. Her screams echoed through the corridors for a long time. But Marcus wasn't paying attention. He was kneeling on the floor, holding Liam. Tears streamed down the oil tycoon's face as he embraced the son he had almost lost. "Forgive me," Marcus whispered. "Forgive me for not seeing. Forgive me for letting this happen." "It's okay, Dad." Liam hugged him back. "Emily saved me. She saw what no one else could see." Marcus looked at Emily. His eyes were still moist. "You," he said. "How can I ever thank you?" Emily looked at Liam, at the boy she had saved, at the child who had almost died at the hands of his own stepmother. "Let me take care of him," she said, "not as a housekeeper, as a nurse, as someone who will make sure he stays safe." Marcus nodded. "Done." And that's how Emily Carter, the nosy housekeeper, became the personal guardian of the oil tycoon's son. But the story was far from over, because Veronica wasn't alone. The day after Veronica's arrest, Marcus called an emergency meeting of the Oil Council. 50 of the most powerful men in the world gathered in the Great Hall of Ashford Manor. Emily was there, beside Liam, as the boy's new personal guardian. The topic of the meeting was simple: what to do with Veronica Ashford, the woman who had tried to kill the heir to the oil tycoon fortune. But before Marcus could speak, something unexpected happened. The door to the hall opened, and Dr. Albright walked in. The family doctor, the man who had treated Liam for 2 years, the man who had never found anything wrong. "Gentlemen of the council," he said. His voice was calm, confident. "I have important information about this case." Marcus frowned. "Dr. Albright, this meeting is private. I know, and that's why I've come." The doctor walked to the center of the hall. "Because there's something you need to know. Something that will change everything." Emily felt a chill. There was something wrong, something in the doctor's tone, something in the way he moved. "Speak," said Marcus. Dr. Albright smiled, a smile that Emily knew, Veronica's smile. "Veronica Ashford wasn't poisoning Liam," he said. "The housekeeper was, Emily Carter." "What?" Emily felt the blood drain from her face. "Think about it," the doctor continued. "Who had access to Liam's room? Who was always snooping where she shouldn't be? Who conveniently found the evidence against Veronica?" "That's a lie," Emily said. "I saved Liam. I uncovered the poison." "You planted the poison." Dr. Albright turned to the board. "She's a criminal. I checked her background. She lost her nursing license 3 years ago. You know why? Because she was accused of poisoning a patient." Emily felt the world spin. "That was a mistake," she said. "The charges were dropped. I was exonerated. But the seed of doubt had been planted." Emily could see it in the eyes of the board members. She could see the uncertainty, the distrust. "And Veronica," Dr. Albright continued, "is an innocent woman who was wrongly accused. I have the medical records, the test results. Everything shows she never had access to any poison." Marcus looked from Dr. Albright to Emily. His face was impossible to read. "Do you have proof?" he asked the doctor. "All the proof you need." Emily felt the panic rising. She was being cornered. Dr. Albright had been working with Veronica from the beginning. He was an accomplice to the poisoning. And now he was trying to turn the tables. She needed to do something. Anything. "Liam," she said suddenly, "tell them." The boy was trembling, scared. But when Emily looked at him, something changed in his eyes. Courage. "Dr. Albright is a liar," Liam said. His voice was small but clear. "He always gave me medicine that made me worse. He always told Veronica I was getting better when I was dying. He knew what was happening. He's part of it. Dr. Albright laughed. A 6-year-old child against a doctor with 30 years of experience? Who are you going to believe? Silence. And then a voice came from the back of the room. I believe the child. Everyone turned. An old man was standing near the door. White hair, sharp eyes. One of the most senior members of the Oil Tycoon Council, Clarence Sterling. I know this doctor, Sterling said. He walked to the center of the room. And I've known the Ashford family for 40 years. And one thing I've learned in that time is that children don't lie about pain. Adults lie. Children don't. This is ridiculous, Dr. Albright exclaimed. Are you going to ignore concrete evidence because of the testimony of a sick child? Sick because of you, Sterling countered. He stopped in front of the doctor. I propose something. Let's do a full examination on Liam right now, with neutral doctors. If they find poison in his system, we know someone was poisoning him. And then we investigate who had access. Dr. Albright hesitated. For a second. Just a second. But it was enough. Marcus saw the hesitation. And he understood. Guards, he said. Detain the doctor. What? Dr. Albright recoiled. You can't do this. I'm a respected physician. You're a suspect, Marcus stated, and you will be detained until this investigation is concluded. Dr. Albright tried to run, but the guards were faster. As they dragged him away, he shouted, You're making a mistake. Veronica will destroy you all. She has allies you can't even imagine. Marcus turned to Emily. Did you hear that? I did. Emily felt hope for the first time in hours. He just confessed. Not directly, but it was enough. The investigation that followed lasted 3 days. Neutral doctors examined Liam. They found traces of thallium in his blood, hair and nails, consistent with long-term chronic poisoning. Investigators searched Veronica's room. They found a hiding place behind a false wall. Inside, vials of thallium, records of payments to Dr. Albright, and something else, letters. Letters from Veronica to her mother, detailing the entire plan. How she intended to kill Liam slowly, how she planned to blame it on a mysterious illness, how she would ensure that her own son inherited everything. When Marcus read the letters, his hands were shaking. He had slept next to this woman for 2 years. He had trusted her. He had let her care for his son. And she was killing Liam right under his nose. The sentencing was swift. Veronica Ashford was sentenced to life in prison for attempted murder. Dr. Albright received 20 years as an accomplice. And Emily Carter was officially named Liam Ashford's personal guardian and caretaker. But the story didn't end there. Because as Veronica was led away to prison, she looked at Marcus one last time and smiled. You think it's over? She said. You don't know anything, Marcus. I have friends, allies, people who will finish what I started. Guards, take her away, Marcus commanded. But Veronica's words hung in the air, like a promise, like a threat. And Emily knew it wasn't over. Not yet. 3 months later, Ashford Manor had changed. The once silent corridors now echoed with laughter. The once closed windows now let the sun stream in. And Liam, the boy who almost died, was finally living. He had gained weight. His cheeks had color. His eyes sparkled with an energy they'd never had before. "Emily!" he shouted, running through the garden. "Look what I found." He was holding a frog. Green. Fat. Completely gross. Emily laughed. "That's lovely. Now put him back in nature before he pees on you." "Do frogs pee?" "Absolutely." Liam released the frog quickly. The animal hopped into the pond and disappeared. "Emily," Liam said, approaching her, "can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Are you going to stay forever?" Emily felt something tighten in her chest. She looked at this boy she had saved, this boy who had become the most important thing in her life. "Forever is a long time," she said. "I know. But do you promise to try?" Emily knelt in front of him, took his small hands. "I promise," she said. "Pinky promise." Liam smiled, a smile that lit up the entire garden. "Great, because I told my dad that you're the best person in the world, and he agreed." Emily felt her face flush. "He did." He said you're special, and that he's never met anyone like you." Before Emily could respond, a voice came from behind. "I hope I'm not interrupting." Marcus Ashford was standing at the entrance to the garden. Dark suit, hair slightly tousled by the wind, and a smile that Emily had never seen before. "Dad!" Liam ran to him. "I found a frog." "I saw." Marcus tousled his son's hair. "But now I need to talk to Emily. Can you go play for a bit?" Liam looked from one to the other, then smiled in a way that children smile when they know something adults don't. "Okay," he said, "but don't take too long." He ran off. Marcus walked to Emily, stopped just inches from her. "You saved my son," he said. "I just did what was right. You risked everything, your job, her freedom, her life, for a child she barely knew. He's a child. It doesn't matter if I knew him or not. What matters is that he needed help." Marcus stared at her for a long moment. His dark eyes were intense, profound, as if he was seeing something that no one else could. "Do you know why I married Veronica?" he asked suddenly. Emily shook her head. "Because I thought Liam needed a mother. That I wasn't enough. That a child needs a woman in their life to be happy." He sighed. "I was so wrong. You couldn't have known what she was. I should have known. I'm an oil tycoon. I control an empire. And I couldn't see what was happening in my own house." Emily placed her hand on his arm. "You're seeing it now," she said. "And that's what matters." Marcus looked at her hand, at her eyes, at something that was beyond what words could express. "Emily," he said, "I'm not good with words. I never have been. But I need you to know something." "What?" "In these 3 months, you've done more for my son than Veronica did in 2 years. You've made him laugh. You've made him play. You've made him a child for the first time in his life." Emily felt tears welling up in her eyes. "And you've done more for me," Marcus continued, "than anyone ever has. You showed me that I was wrong, that protecting doesn't mean controlling, that trusting can be the greatest form of love." "Marcus, I'm not asking for anything," he said quickly. "I just want you to know that you're important to Liam and to me." Silence. The wind blew through the gardens, leaves danced in the air, and 2 people who never should have met stood there, looking at each other. Then Emily did something that surprised them both. She kissed him. It was quick, soft, almost hesitant, but it was a kiss. When she pulled away, Marcus's eyes were wide. "Sorry," Emily said. "I shouldn't have. Do it again." "What?" "Do it again." And she did. This time, Marcus responded. His hands found her waist. His lips moved against hers. And in that moment, all the barriers that existed between them simply crumbled. "You." The voice came from the nearest bush. Liam was there, peeking, with a huge smile on his face. "I knew it," he said. "I knew you guys liked each other." Marcus and Emily broke apart, their faces flushed with embarrassment. "How long have you been there?" Marcus asked. "Long enough." Liam emerged from the bush. "Dad, does this mean Emily is going to be my real mom?" Silence. Marcus looked at Emily. Emily looked at Marcus. "Not yet," said Marcus. "But who knows? Maybe someday." Liam jumped for joy. "I'm going to have a real mom. A mom who really loves me." He ran and hugged Emily and Marcus, the three of them together. And in that moment, in the gardens of Ashford Manor, a family was born. Not by blood, but by something stronger, by choice. 1 year later, Ashford Manor was celebrating a wedding. Emily Carter and Marcus Ashford. The guests included the 50 members of the Oil Tycoon Council. But there were others too. Emily's colleagues from the hospital, Liam's friends from school. Ordinary people mixed in with the most powerful in the world. Because Emily had insisted, "If I'm going to be part of your family," she had said to Marcus, "you're going to be part of mine too." And Marcus had agreed, because he had learned something important in those months. That power means nothing without the right people by your side. Liam stood beside the altar, holding the rings, smiling so much it looked like his face was going to split. He was healthy, strong, full of life. The boy who almost died now looked like he could conquer the world. "Dad," he whispered, "you're nervous." "I never get nervous." "Your hand is shaking." Marcus looked at his own hand. Indeed, it was shaking. "Maybe a little," he admitted. "It's good. It means it's important." Marcus smiled. "When did you get so wise?" "Emily taught me." The music began. The doors opened, and Emily walked in. She was beautiful. Simple white dress, hair down, and a smile that lit up the entire hall. But it wasn't the dress that made her beautiful. It wasn't the makeup. It was something else. It was peace. The peace of someone who had fought, who had risked everything, and who had won. She walked down the aisle, past the oil tycoons, past the colleagues, past all those who had once seen her as less, until she reached the altar, until she reached him. "Hi," she said. "Hi," he replied. "Ready for this. I've never been more ready for anything in my life." The vows were exchanged, words about love, about commitment, about two people who had become a family. "I promise to protect you," said Marcus, "not the way I protected before, controlling, suffocating, but the way you taught me, trusting, supporting, and being present." "I promise to care for you," said Emily, "and for Liam, not because it's my obligation, but because it's my choice. The best choice I've ever made." The rings were exchanged. The kiss was given. And as they turned to face the guests, Liam was crying. Tears of happiness. "Mom," he said. "It's the first time I've ever had a real mom." Emily knelt down in front of him, took his little hands. "And it's the first time I've had a son," she said. And I promise I'm going to be the best mom I can be. Real promise. Real promise. They hugged, the three of them, father, mother, and son. And in the great hall of Ashford Manor, the 50 most powerful oil tycoons in the world watched in silence as a family was formed. Not by blood, but by something stronger. By love. 5 years later, Emily was in the manor garden, the same garden where Marcus had kissed her for the first time, the same garden where Liam had found the toad. But now there was something more in the garden. A little girl, Sophia Ashford, 4 years old, dark hair like her father, light eyes like her mother, and a personality that was all her own. "Mommy!" she yelled. "Liam won't play with me!" Emily looked at Liam. The boy, now 11 years old, was sitting under a tree, reading a book. "Liam," she called, "play with your sister, but I'm reading." "You can read later." Liam sighed, but got up, put away his book, and went to play with Sophia. They ran through the garden, laughing, shouting, being children. Emily watched, her heart full. 5 years ago, she was a housekeeper, an ex-nurse with a tarnished past, a woman with no family, no purpose, no hope. And now she was Emily Ashford, wife of the oil tycoon, mother of 2 wonderful children, living a life she never thought possible, lost in thought about the past. The voice came from behind her. Marcus settled next to her on the garden bench. "Just a little," she admitted. "Regretting anything?" "Nothing," Emily said, taking his hand. "Absolutely nothing." They sat in silence for a moment, watching their children play. "You know," Marcus said quietly, "I never properly thanked you." "For what?" "For everything. For saving Liam. For saving me. For giving us this family." Emily smiled softly. "You don't need to thank me." "I know, but I want to." He turned to face her. "You changed my life, Emily. Before you, I was an empty shell. A man who mistook control for love. A man who was losing his own son without even realizing it. And now, I'm happy. For the first time in my life, I'm genuinely, truly happy." Emily felt tears prick her eyes. "Me too," she whispered. "For the first time in my life, I feel like I belong somewhere." "You belong here," Marcus said, his voice thick with emotion. "With me, with Liam, with Sophia. Forever. Forever is a long time." "I know, but I promise to try." Emily chuckled, a warm, genuine sound. "The same promise I made to Liam, and I'll make the same promise to you." They kissed, softly, sweetly, like a couple who had weathered storms together and knew they could face anything. "Mom, Dad." The voices drifted from the lawn. Liam and Sophia stood there, looking at them with playful impatience. "Could you guys maybe cool it with the PDA and come play with us?" Sophia asked, rolling her eyes theatrically. Marcus and Emily burst out laughing. "We're coming, sweetie," Emily called out. They stood and walked towards their children, and for a long time, the 4 of them played together in the garden, running, laughing, being a family. And that's how the story ended. Not with a grand dramatic finale, not with some epic battle, but with something simpler, something more beautiful, more real, a family in the garden, playing together, loving each other. A story that began with poison and ended with love. A story of a boy who almost died and found someone who saved him. A story of a woman who risked everything for a child she barely knew. A story of an oil tycoon who learned that true power isn't in business or money. It's in the people you choose to love. If this story touched you in any way, if it made you think about the people you've underestimated, if it made you question what it really means to protect someone you love, then hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who needs to hear this message, because we all have a Liam inside us, someone who needs to be saved, and we all can be an Emily. Someone who chooses to save. Comment down below. Say Liam if you've ever felt invisible and needed someone to believe in you. Say Emily if you've ever been the person who saw what no one else saw and chose to act. I want to hear your story until the next video. But let me tell you something that happened between the wedding and those 5 years of happiness. Something that almost destroyed everything 2 years after the wedding, when Sophia was still a baby. Victoria's words came back to haunt them. You think it's over? I have friends, allies. Emily was giving Sophia a bath when she heard Liam scream. It wasn't a normal scream. It was the kind of scream that makes your blood run cold. She ran. She left Sophia in the tub for a second. She ran down the hallway, through the living room, out to the garden, and there was Liam, on the ground, pale, shaking, just like she had found him 3 years before. No, Emily whispered, her voice trembling. Not again. She knelt beside him, checked his vitals, fever, vomiting, dizziness, all the signs of poisoning. Someone call 911, she yelled, her voice raw with panic. Now! Guards scrambled, phones were grabbed, the ambulance was called. But Emily knew they didn't have time. Liam, she said, cupping his face in her hands. Look at me. What did you eat? What did you drink? Liam's voice was weak, almost inaudible. The juice from the kitchen. The new housekeeper gave it to me. New housekeeper. Emily felt the anger surge through her. They had hired someone new just last week, a woman who had passed all the security checks. But Victoria had warned them. She had allies. Marcus, Emily screamed, get the new housekeeper, don't let her leave. But when the guards reached the kitchen, the housekeeper had already vanished. Liam was rushed to the hospital. This time, the doctors knew what to look for. They found thallium in his system, a smaller amount than before. Thanks to the quick detection, he survived. But Emily knew this couldn't continue. She needed to end this, once and for all, that night. After Liam was stable and sleeping in the hospital, Emily went to visit Veronica Ashford in prison, the woman who had tried to kill her stepson twice. The woman who still had allies on the outside, the woman who needed to be stopped, definitively. Veronica, Emily said, sitting down in the visitor's room. We need to talk. Veronica smiled, that same cold, chilling smile. Emily, what a pleasant surprise. How's my darling stepson doing? You know how he's doing. You sent someone to poison him again. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm in prison. How could I do anything? You have allies. You said so yourself. Veronica tilted her head, a calculating look in her eyes. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. You'll never know, will you? Emily took a deep breath. She had prepared for this moment. I have a proposition, she said, her voice steady. Veronica raised an eyebrow. A proposition? You stop sending people after Liam, and in exchange, I'll convince Marcus to let you have regular visits with your son. My son? The baby you were carrying when you were arrested. He was born. He's being raised by a foster family. You've never seen him. Veronica froze. For a moment, something different flickered in her eyes. Pain. You're lying, she hissed. I'm not. Your son is 2 years old now, blonde hair, just like yours, green eyes. He's healthy, happy, and he's never known that his mother is a murderer. Veronica was silent for a long, agonizing moment. "What do you want?" she finally asked, her voice barely a whisper. "I want you to call your allies. I want you to tell them to stop, and I want you to let Liam live in peace. And in exchange, I'll arrange for you to see your son once a month under supervision. But you will see him." Silence. Emily could see the battle raging behind Veronica's eyes, the hatred for Marcus, the desire for revenge, warring against the love for a son she had never held. "How do I know you'll follow through?" "You don't. But you also don't have a choice. Either you accept my proposition, or you spend the rest of your life without ever seeing your son, and he grows up never knowing who you are." Silence. Emily waited. Veronica closed her eyes. For a long moment she remained silent. Then she opened them, and something had shifted. "All right," she said. "I accept." And that's how the war ended. Not with more violence, not with more deaths, but with something no one expected: compassion. Emily kept her word. Once a month, Veronica saw her son Liam under supervision for just 1 hour, and Veronica kept hers. The attacks stopped. The allies disappeared. Liam was finally safe. But there was something more. In the months that followed, Emily noticed something changing in Veronica. The coldness that once defined her was melting away. The hatred was giving way to something different: remorse. One day, during one of the visits, Veronica said something that surprised Emily. "I used to be like you," she said. Her voice was low, different. "When I was a kid, no one loved me. No one protected me. I learned that the only way to survive was to be tough, cold, cruel." Emily didn't say anything. She just listened. "When I met Marcus, I saw an opportunity. Money, power, security. Everything I never had. And Liam was the obstacle between me and all of it. You tried to kill a child, I know. And I'll pay for it for the rest of my life." Veronica looked at her son, Liam, playing on the other side of the glass. "But when I look at him, at my son, I understand something I didn't understand before." "What?" "That children aren't obstacles. They're the reason we fight. They're the reason we exist." Emily felt something strange, something she never expected to feel for Veronica: empathy. "You've changed," Emily said. "Maybe. Or maybe I'm just seeing who I always could have been if someone had given me a chance." Silence. Emily looked at Veronica, at the woman who had been her enemy, at the woman who had almost killed Liam. And she saw something that no one else did: a broken person who had never been fixed. "That doesn't justify what you did," Emily said. "I know. Nothing justifies it. But maybe, just maybe, I can be different for my son. Maybe I can give him what no one ever gave me." "What's that?" "Love. True. Unconditional. Even from afar. Even from behind these walls." Emily didn't know what to say. Then she did something that surprised them both. She placed her hand on the glass that separated them, and Veronica did the same. For a moment, two women who should have been enemies connected, not as friends, not as sisters, but as two people who understood something about pain, about loss, about the possibility of change. "Take good care of my stepchildren," Veronica said. "Liam and Sophia. They deserve a real mother." "I will," Emily said. "And I'll take care of your son too, from afar. But I'll take care of him." Veronica smiled. a different smile, a smile that for the first time seemed real. "Thank you," she said. "I'm for giving me a second chance, even after everything I've done." Emily didn't say anything. She just nodded and left. Outside the prison, Marcus was waiting. "How was it?" he asked. Emily looked back at the prison walls, at the woman inside. "Different," she said, "very different than I expected." "She's going to stop." "Yes, she's going to stop." "How do you know?" "Because she has something to live for now, something that's more important than revenge." "What?" "Her son." Marcus was silent for a moment. "You think she's really changed?" Emily thought about the question, thought about Veronica, thought about everything that had happened. "I think people are more complicated than they seem," she said. "I think we all carry wounds that others can't see. And I think that sometimes the most courageous thing we can do is give someone a chance to be different. Even after everything she's done, especially after everything she's done." Marcus took Emily's hand. "You're amazing," he said. "You know that. I'm just human, trying to do the best I can. And that's what makes you amazing." They walked together to the car, hand in hand, looking towards the future. A future that was finally free of shadows. Then flashing forward to 5 years later. Emily was in the garden, watching her children play. Liam was 11 years old now. Strong, healthy, full of life. Sophia was 4, curious, joyful, full of questions. And somewhere in a prison miles away, Veronica watched photos of her own son growing up, different from who she had been, better than she ever imagined. Life was strange like that. Sometimes the people we think are monsters are just broken people who have never been fixed. And sometimes the greatest victory isn't destroying the enemy, it's transforming them into something different. "Mom!" Liam's voice snapped her out of her thoughts. He was standing in front of her, sweaty from playing, smiling. "Can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Do you regret anything about coming here, about risking everything, about saving me?" Emily looked at him, at the boy she had found dying in a dark room, at the strong, healthy teenager he had become. "No regrets," she said, "not a single one." "Even when Veronica almost sent you to prison? Even then? Even when she had me poisoned again?" "Even then? Why?" Emily smiled. "Because saving you was the best thing I've ever done in my life. And I'd do it all again, 1,000 times, without hesitation." Liam hugged her, tightly, with love, with gratitude. "Thank you," he said, "for being my real mom." "Thank you," she replied, "for letting me be." And there in the garden of Ashford Manor, a family that had been built through pain and suffering finally found peace. Not because the pain had disappeared, but because they had learned to transform it into something different, into love, into family, into home. And that's the true message of this story, that evil exists, that bad people do terrible things, that innocent children suffer because of selfish adults, but also that good exists, that courageous people risk everything for strangers, that a single person can change the destiny of an entire life. Emily Carter was just a housekeeper, a former nurse with a tainted past. No one special. But she saw something that no one else did, and she chose to act. And that choice saved a life, transformed a family, changed a destiny. You can make that choice too. You can see what no one else sees. You can be the person who changes everything. The question is simple. Will you choose to see, or will you choose to close your eyes? The answer is with you. And if you've made it this far, I have one more thing to tell you. 10 years later, Liam Ashford took his rightful place as Vice President of the Ashford Empire at just 21 years old. He was already one of the youngest leaders on the Oil Tycoon Council, a testament to his vision and drive. During his first official address, he said something that truly resonated with everyone present. I've been close to death, twice in my life, and in both instances, I was saved by someone who chose to see what no one else did. My mother, Emily, she taught me that true power isn't in money or influence. It's in the ability to protect those who cannot protect themselves. It's in the courage to act when everyone else chooses to remain silent. Starting today, the Ashford Empire will dedicate 10% of its profits to programs that protect children at risk, because every child deserves someone who chooses to see them. Every child deserves an Emily. The speech was met with a standing ovation, a wave of applause that seemed to shake the very foundations of the room. And Emily, sitting in the front row next to Marcus and Sophia, wept. Not tears of sadness, tears of pride. The boy she had saved had become a man who would go on to save thousands of others, and that is the real power of a choice. One choice can save a life. A life saved can save thousands, and thousands saved can change the world. So I ask you again, will you choose to see, or will you choose to close your eyes? The answer is up to you. Comment Emily. If you choose to see, comment Liam. If you were someone who needed to be seen, I want to know your story. Until the next video.